They say your wedding day is supposed to be the happiest day of your life. Well, mine started with a message. Simple. Direct. Like a bullet wrapped in digital ink. Don't go to the wedding. Check the bride's closet. That was it. No greeting. No explanation. Just that. And it came from my brother, Jason, the same guy who once tackled a drunk groomsman at my cousin's wedding for saying the DJ sucked. So, yeah, the man wasn't exactly prone to subtlety or restraint. At first, I laughed. A nervous, stupid little laugh. Like the kind you let slip when you find out the brakes are out, but only after the lights turned red. I was standing in the hotel suite Claire, and I had rented for the night before the ceremony. She'd insisted on keeping it traditional, so we slept in separate rooms. Hers, the penthouse suite overlooking the lake, decked out with champagne and silk robes. Mine, the smaller corner suite, big enough to feel lonely but not grand enough to distract me from the nervous churning in my stomach. I stared at the message again, sitting at the edge of my bed, tux pants pressed and shirt half-buttoned. My best man, Evan, was still in the shower, probably hungover from the one last drink. We definitely shouldn't have had at 2 a.m. Don't go to the wedding. Check the bride's closet. Jason didn't joke. Not about this. Not with me. I texted back, fast. What's going on? No reply. That's when the unease started crawling up my spine. Claire's hotel room was just one floor up. I grabbed my keycard. My hands weren't shaking yet. Not then. Not until I stood outside her door and heard silence. No bridesmaids. No music. Just silence, the kind that feels thick in your throat. I knocked. No answer. The front desk had given me a backup key, just in case. I slid it in. Click. The door swung open with a soft hiss. Her shoes were lined up perfectly by the couch. The white veil draped over the back of a velvet chair. Everything was still. Too still. Then I saw it, the closet. It was half open. I wish I could say I hesitated, that I took a breath and thought it through. But I didn't. I crossed the room and pulled the door wide. And that's when the bottom dropped out of my world. Inside the closet, tucked behind her wedding gown, was a second suit. Not a dress. Not some forgotten accessory. A man's suit. Black. Pressed. And unmistakably not mine. Next to it, a pair of men's shoes. Worn slightly at the soles. My size, but again, not mine. And the final nail? A cologne bottle. Same one I'd smelled on my fiancée once or twice before. The kind of scent that clings to skin like guilt. Suddenly, everything clicked. The late nights at the florist. The half smiles when I asked if she was excited. The way she flinched when I said, I can't wait to marry you. God. My hands were shaking now. My heart was in my throat. I backed out of the closet like it was a crime scene, and maybe it was. My phone buzzed again. It was Jason. Told you. I tried to stop this. She's not who you think she is. He's still there. He? I turned slowly, scanning the room. Empty. Or so I thought until I heard the water running in the bathroom. The door was cracked open just enough to let out a small curl of steam. And inside? A man's humming voice. Deep. Familiar. I don't remember walking out. I just remember how the air tasted different, like betrayal and hotel coffee. Bitter and cheap. This wasn't just a broken heart. This was war. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I didn't kick down the door and demand an explanation, like some hothead on a daytime drama. No. I walked out of that hotel suite like a man stepping off a battlefield. Except I hadn't even fought yet. The elevator ride down was quiet. The kind of quiet that rings in your ears because your thoughts are screaming too loud to hear anything else. My tux jacket hung awkwardly over my arm, half wrung in my fist like it had done something wrong. Jason was waiting for me in the parking garage, leaning against his Jeep like he knew I'd come. He didn't say anything at first. Just looked at me. Eyes steady, jaw clenched. Same look he had when he told me Dad wasn't coming back from the hospital. That same unflinching stare. Unapologetic. Like he knew the truth and he was the one cursed to deliver it. You saw it? He asked finally. I nodded. The suit. The cologne. He's in the shower. Jason exhaled hard and rubbed his jaw. I tried, man. I really did. I wanted to ask how long have you known? But the words stuck. Because the truth is, part of me had known too. Maybe not with my brain. But somewhere deep, my gut had been screaming for weeks. All the signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. Who is it? I asked. The guy. Who's in the shower? Jason hesitated. You're not gonna like it. Try me. It's Evan. The world tilted. I blinked. Evan? My best man? Jason just nodded. I laughed. It came out cracked and hollow, like the sound of a snap string. He's supposed to be giving a speech today. Jason nodded again. Yeah, he already wrote it. I saw it on his phone last night. What did it say? He pulled out his phone, tapped a few times, then handed it to me. I read it. To the couple that reminds us what real love looks like. My throat closed. My chest burned. I handed the phone back without another word. The man I called brother and the man I called best friend had both known the truth. Only one of them had the spine to stop the wreck before impact. Jason looked at me with that quiet rage only blood can have. I wasn't sure until last night. I saw them together at that bar down near 3rd Street. She kissed him, man. No mistaking it. That wasn't a thanks for carrying my veil kiss. That was a don't be late kiss. I swallowed the bile rising in my throat. Why didn't you say something sooner? I asked, though my voice lacked bite. Because I didn't have proof. And I knew what it would do to you. He shrugged. Turns out, it did it anyway. We stood there in silence for a long time. Cars came and went. A little girl in a flower girl dress skipped by with her mom, giggling. Somewhere above us, my bride's lover was rinsing her perfume off his skin. So, what now? Jason asked. I looked down at the ring still in my pocket. Platinum. Custom engraved. Forever begins today. Yeah, right. I slipped it out, stared at it, then casually dropped it into the garbage bin by the elevator like it was yesterday's receipt. Jason's lips twitched. You sure? No, I cracked a smile, the first honest one in hours. But I'm not the one with my pants around my ankles in someone else's fiancée's suite. Jason let out a laugh, low and sharp. So, what's the plan? You gonna confront them? Eventually, I said. But not today. Then what are you gonna do? I looked up, ice cold. I'm gonna let them sweat. Jason dropped me off at my place just after noon. The wedding was set for 4 o'clock, meaning I had exactly 4 hours before everyone in my life expected to see me standing at the altar. 4 hours before the guests took their seats, before Claire's father gave some smug little toast about welcoming a new son into the family, before Evan, my supposed best friend, raised a glass with trembling hands and sweat at his temples because he would know. But I wasn't going. And I wasn't telling anyone. Not yet. Instead, I sat down at my kitchen table, poured myself 2 fingers of bourbon, and did what I should have done months ago. I started looking. Claire's phone records. Her Venmo history. Her email. She wasn't tech-savvy, thank God. Same passwords across accounts. A few clicks later, I was swimming in secrets. She'd been sending money to Evan for months, reimbursements, she labeled them. Hotel charges. Uber receipts at weird hours. Flower deliveries I never received. I pulled up her shared calendar. Hidden entries. Password locked. But the genius of someone confident in her secrecy is that she thinks no one will ever check. A quick run through her most used passwords and boom. Unlocked. Every Tuesday. Every Thursday. Meeting. Sometimes at a restaurant. Sometimes at a boutique hotel. Once, brazenly, in our own apartment, while I was out on a business trip for a deal I took to pay for her ring. I felt my jaw tighten until it clicked. I hadn't even eaten, but I couldn't think about food. I could only think about them. Her moaning some joke in Evan's ear, probably calling me boring. Predictable. Her safe bet. She picked me because I was stable. Because I worked hard. Because I'd cover the bills while she chased her Instagram influencer, interior designer, dreams and spent more on pillows than I spent on tires. But Evan? He was the risk. The rebellion. The stolen thrill. That's what she craved. And she thought I'd never notice. She was right until today. I poured another drink. Checked the time. 1:27 p.m. Then I did something most men wouldn't have had the stomach to do. I logged into the wedding live stream service, Claire's idea for her extended family out of state. She wanted everyone to see the moment, even the people who couldn't make it. So I scheduled something new. Not a wedding. A message. I uploaded a short video. Just my face. No emotion. No explanation. Just 3 sentences. To those tuning in expecting a wedding, there won't be one. Claire knows why. Evan does too. Enjoy the show. Set it to broadcast automatically at 4:05 p.m. I sat back, heart racing. It was done. Clean. Cold. There would be no screaming match. No tear-streaked confrontation on some chapel step while guests gasped and Grandma clutched her pearls. No. They wouldn't get that drama. They'd get shame. Claire would be in her dress, veil pinned, bouquet in hand. Evan would be adjusting his cufflinks, maybe smoothing down his speech cards. And they'd be standing there, waiting for me. But I'd be here, watching from my couch, bourbon in hand, shirt untucked, as the live stream panned across a flower-filled venue and then cut to me, telling the truth in real time. Jason texted again. "You good?" I replied. "Better than I've been in years." He texted back a thumbs up, then another. "Just heard from Molly, Evan's girlfriend. She had no idea." I stared at the message. Wait, Evan had a girlfriend? That was when the first real smile in hours spread across my face. Oh, this just got so much better. The clock hit 4 p.m. I sat on my couch in jeans and a t-shirt, barefoot, bourbon in hand, watching my own wedding like it was a live sports event. Only difference was, I already knew who was losing. I'd propped my laptop on the coffee table, volume low. Eyes sharp. The screen showed the venue Claire had obsessed over for 9 months. Rustic chic. Chandeliers made of reclaimed barnwood. Edison bulbs dangling like irony from the ceiling. Guests shuffled into their seats, fans in hand, smiling, laughing, unaware they were about to attend the most talked-about non-wedding of the year. Claire's dad looked impatient. Claire's mom was dabbing under her eyes, tears, I assumed, for show. I never liked that woman. She once called me budget dependable. Not even reliable. Just affordable. Like a damn toaster oven. Then I saw Evan. Standing at the altar, fidgeting with his cufflink. Same smug smile he wore when he beat me at poker or stole the last beer. Except now, it looked like he'd swallowed a bug. Good. He should be sweating. He wasn't supposed to be standing there at all, but when the groom doesn't show. I guess the best man steps up to lie. Jason texted. Still no word from Claire. Think she's seen it yet. Wait 5 minutes, I replied. The music started. Pachelbel's Canon. Of course. The guests stood. The camera turned just in time to catch Claire at the top of the aisle. Ivory lace, cathedral veil, bouquet of hand-picked white lilies. She looked radiant, if you didn't know what radiated beneath the skin. My stomach clenched, not from regret, but from the memory of what could have been if she had simply loved me more than the thrill of secrecy. She reached the halfway mark. Then the screen glitched. The live stream faded to black for half a second, then came my video. Just me. A blank wall behind me. No drama. No music. No script. To those tuning in expecting a wedding, there won't be one. Claire knows why. Evan does too. Enjoy the show. Silence. The live stream cut back to the venue. Claire stood frozen mid-step. The camera caught her mouth opening, then closing. Her bouquet hit the ground like a dropped mic. One guest gasped. Another dropped their phone. Evan was pale. Someone in the back stood up and muttered, "What the hell?" Jason texted again. 10 guests already walked out. Claire looks like she saw a ghost. You broke her brain. Then another message. Molly's here. She's confronting Evan now. I refreshed my browser and found someone had already started filming from the aisle. Different angle. Shaky camera. There she was, Molly. 5'0" and fire in her eyes, marching up the aisle in jeans and a hoodie. Not a wedding guest. Definitely not on the invite list. She walked right up to Evan. Slapped him. Hard. Claire gasped. I mean, full-on Hollywood gasp. Then came the screaming. I couldn't make it all out, but I caught enough. You cheated on me with the bride? Evan? Are you insane? Babe, Don't babe me, you coward. And you, she turned to Claire. You knew he had a girlfriend, and you still let him crawl into your bed. Claire looked around like someone would explain this wasn't happening. That someone would say, cut. Let's reset the scene. But no one came. She was alone now. No groom. No best man. Just the wreckage of her own design, laid bare in front of friends, family, and 2,000 live stream viewers, some of whom were already posting clips to TikTok. The fairy tale burned in real time. And me? I sat there, sipping bourbon, watching justice pour in. I didn't show up to ruin her day. I simply let the truth arrive on time. The wedding that wasn't became viral by sunset. By 6 p.m., the live stream clip was trending in 4 states. Someone had edited it with dramatic violin music. Another overlaid it with the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme. By 7, I'd been called the runaway groom of the century, the savage fiancé, and my personal favorite, the one who knew and walked anyway. But Claire? She wasn't laughing. My phone buzzed again. Another text from her. Claire, please, talk to me. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Oh, but she did. Every sneaky hotel visit. Every lie. Every smirk she shared with Evan while I was out buying her a ring. She meant all of it. Claire, I was scared, okay? We rushed into this. I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't think it would matter. Didn't think it would matter? I stared at the screen like it owed me an explanation. Like I could reach through the pixels and demand honesty for once. Then came Evan. Evan, you didn't have to do it like that, man. The audacity. You don't get to sleep with your best friend's fiancé and then complain about how the truth shows up. Me, you're lucky all I did was leave. He didn't reply. Molly did, though. She messaged me through Instagram, of all places. I guess we'd never exchanged numbers before. Molly, I don't know what kind of ninja-level revenge plan you executed today, but it was beautiful. That piece of crap had me fooled for 2 years. Me, he fooled us both. But not again. She sent a heart emoji. Not a flirt. Not a move. Just solidarity. The kind only two betrayed people could understand. Later that night, Jason swung by with Chinese food and a six-pack. We didn't speak much. We didn't have to. He just raised his bottle and said, "To liars losing." I clinked mine against his. "To rebuilding," I said. We sat in silence, watching the sky fade into black. The kind of black that feels like an ending, until you remember the sun always shows up again. Then came the knock on the door. Sharp. Fast. Repeated. I already knew who it was before I opened it. Claire. No veil. No heels. Just a hoodie over her dress and makeup running like guilt down her cheeks. She looked smaller somehow, like the air around her had finally caught up with her choices. "I just want to talk," she said, voice hoarse. I didn't move. "You said everything you wanted to say," I replied. "That video," her voice cracked. "Why didn't you just tell me you knew? Would it have changed anything?" I asked. "Would you have told me the truth? Or would you have lied again, like you have for months?" She looked down. "I made a mistake." "No," I said coldly. "You made choices. You don't trip and fall into someone else's bed. That takes planning, effort, secrecy." She didn't respond. "You can come back for your things tomorrow. I'll be gone by then," I added. Claire blinked. "Gone where?" "Forward," I said. Then I shut the door. I didn't slam it. That kind of rage belongs to people who still want something. I didn't want Claire anymore. What I wanted now was clarity, control, closure. And I wasn't done yet. Claire didn't come back the next day. Not in person, anyway. She sent her sister instead. Emily, the one who used to post power couple photos of us and caption them #relationship-goals. She couldn't even meet my eyes as she packed Claire's things. "Just so you know," she muttered while folding Claire's designer dress. Not everyone supported what she did. I didn't answer. I didn't need an apology by proxy. After she left, I boxed up the last of Claire's mail, set it all on the porch, and watched the wind rustle the corners of her fake life. That should have been enough. But it wasn't, because something kept itching at the back of my mind. This wasn't just a fling. This was methodical, protected, hidden. So I started digging. Not out of obsession, out of principle. I contacted the venue, asked for the name of the wedding planner. They remembered me. "Oh, you're the one who pulled the greatest Irish exit we've ever seen," the coordinator laughed. I didn't correct her. I played dumb, asked for copies of vendor invoices, said I wanted to make sure everything was canceled and refunded properly. What I was really looking for. Who paid for what? And oh boy, did I find something. Claire had opened a second bank account, in her name only, months ago. And guess who made regular deposits? Evan. Thousands. Like clockwork. Every month. I pulled up the account number, matched it to the florist invoice, the dress, the cake. He paid for it all. Not me. Not even Claire's parents. Evan paid to marry my fiancée, which meant this was never just an affair. It was a contingency plan. If I hadn't found out, if Jason hadn't sent that message, they would have walked down that aisle like nothing was wrong, smiling, kissing, playing house, until Evan slipped in through the back door again. Or maybe they planned to humiliate me further down the line. Maybe the wedding was just an audition for the role of acceptable husband, until she got bored and upgraded. I wouldn't get the satisfaction of knowing, but I would make damn sure they didn't get to pretend anymore. That night, I posted the receipts. Not the live stream, the bank transfers, the emails, the hotel bookings, the florist invoices paid with Evan's card. I blurred the personal info, but made it clear, Claire didn't just cheat. She conspired. And Evan? He funded the whole act. No commentary. No hashtags. Just the truth. Within hours, it spread. Turns out people aren't just hungry for drama. They're starving for justice. Claire's boutique Instagram? Disabled. Evan's real estate profile? Comments locked. Business partners reevaluating. And me? I just kept sipping my coffee. Jason called me the next morning. "They're scrambling," he said. Evan's trying to sell his stake in the company. Claire's crying on Emily's couch. Molly's considering suing them both for emotional damages. I rubbed my chin. Good. You done now? I paused. No, I said. Not yet. Because there was still one more thread dangling. One more lie Claire told that hadn't unraveled yet. And it was in the prenup. Claire insisted on a prenup. 6 months before the wedding, she called it a formality. Said it was what anyone with assets did. She made it sound like a grown-up thing. Like flossing or paying taxes. It's nothing personal, she said, sliding the leather folder across the table with her perfect manicured fingers. It just protects what we've built. You get it, right? At the time, I nodded. Because I thought we were building something together. She made more than me back then. An interior designer with a small boutique, a list of affluent clients, and a curated lifestyle she flaunted on social media like it came with a trust fund. What she didn't know was that I'd been playing the long game. My own business, an app I'd started on the side, had just landed a major licensing deal the week before that prenup came across my desk. I hadn't told anyone yet, not even Jason. I wanted to wait until after the wedding to surprise her. Build our future. That old fairy tale. The contract she gave me? I let my lawyer look at it anyway, and he gave me a gift that, at the time, I didn't realize I'd treasure. He told me to add a clause. Nothing big. Nothing she'd even notice unless she read past the parts her own attorney copy-pasted from Google. Clause 37B, nullification upon discovery of infidelity prior to date of ceremony. Basically, if she cheated before we said, I do, the whole prenup became toilet paper. All assets revert to fair division under the state law. And she signed it. With a smile. See, she said. Simple. Sure, honey. Simple like detonating dynamite. Now here's the part she never saw coming. In the weeks before the wedding, she was already spending my money. My company name, my solo LLC, was on the registry deposit. The rehearsal dinner. Even her boutique expansion loan had my signature as a guarantor. She thought she was locking down security. But all she did was build a paper castle and hand me the matchbook. My lawyer, God bless cynical old Bernard, got to work. We didn't sue for defamation or fraud or any emotional nonsense. We went after assets. Every dollar she spent planning that wedding on my dime? On record. Every hotel room booked with joint accounts while she played pretend fiancé to me and mistress to Evan? Logged. We filed a motion to freeze the boutique's business account until her finances could be audited for misuse of shared resources. And Evan? He got served too. See, his loans to Claire violated about 6 terms of his own business partnership, misappropriation of funds, gift-giving beyond fiduciary limit, failure to disclose personal entanglement that could affect client trust. Oops. By the end of that week, Claire had lost half her client list. Evan was forced to step down from his company's board to focus on personal matters. And me? I made the down payment on a lake house. Something quiet. Private. With better locks. Jason dropped by with a 6-pack the night I got the official court update. Dude, he said, cracking open a beer. You didn't just dodge a bullet. You matrixed your way through an entire firing squad. I laughed. For real this time. Because for the first time in months, I didn't feel like the guy who'd been left at the altar. I felt like the man who chose not to kneel. It came in the mail. No text. No email. No sudden visit in the rain with mascara running and a shaky apology rehearsed from a rom-com script. Just a plain white envelope, no return address, my name scribbled in the handwriting I used to think was beautiful. Claire. I stared at it for a long time. Didn't open it right away. Let it sit on the kitchen counter next to the toaster and the utility bill. She didn't get to have the last word. Not after everything. But eventually. I opened it. Because closure is a liar too. It whispers, just one more truth. Then you can move on. Inside was a single page. Folded neatly. No perfume. No hearts over her eyes. Just ink. Cold. Sharp. Sincere, maybe. Or at least pretending hard enough to pass. Evan's gone. He moved out 2 days ago. He said this whole thing ruined him. Maybe it did. I don't know what I expected. Probably that we could just survive it somehow. But I guess liars don't get fairy tales. Not even when they lie to themselves first. I didn't mean to fall for him. I didn't mean to lie to you. I thought I could keep it separate. I thought you wouldn't see me any differently if I just buried it deep enough. But you did. You always saw too much. I guess I hoped if I could keep it hidden until after the wedding, I could start over. Like a clean slate somehow. That's the stupidest part. I thought marrying you would erase cheating on you. How messed up is that? I loved the way you loved me. I loved the idea of who I was when I was with you. I just didn't know how to be that person without needing to. God, I don't even know. Maybe I ruined it because I was afraid of not being enough. Maybe I ruined it because I didn't think you'd ever leave. But you did. In that moment, when the video cut in. I'll never forget the sound of the entire room exhaling like they'd just witnessed a public execution. I deserved it. And you didn't. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I'm sorry. For the lies. For what I made you carry. For breaking something that was never meant to be disposable. I hope your next chapter doesn't include a footnote with my name on it. But if it does, I hope it's just to say, he got away. And he made it count. Claire. I read it once. Then again. Then I put it back in the envelope and slid it into the bottom drawer of my desk. Not to save it. Not because it meant anything now. But because one day, if I ever doubted how far I'd come, I wanted to remember exactly where I started. Jason came over later that night. We didn't talk about the letter. Instead, he asked me what I planned to do next. You ever think about going somewhere? He asked. Just disappearing. Starting over where no one knows your name. I stared out at the backyard. The trees were swaying in the dark. Clean wind. No perfume. No lies. Not disappearing, I said. Just arriving somewhere better. He nodded. And I realized something. Claire hadn't just lost me. She lost the version of me that ever needed her. And that man? He wasn't coming back.